Monster Movie Media presents.
Blast from the past. Your weekly talk show. Laughing gas. You don't like it, you can kiss my ass. 'Cause even James has a podcast. Even James has a podcast.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 59 of the Even James is a podcast. I am the person that is the host of the podcast. It is me, Mr. James H. Carter II, and I will be hosting you through this packed with fun-filled episode. When I first started that sentence, I thought it would come out a lot smoother, but, whatever. Before we get going, gotta let you know this podcast was presented and produced by Monster Movie Media. And for all of your video and audio production needs, check us out at monstermoviemedia.com. We do video production and podcast production and consulting, and we produce original entertainment such as this podcast. Check us out at monstermoviemedia.com. And we are on the Stitcher Smart Radio application for your smart telephone. You can stream us directly to your phone, and certain fancy cars that have Stitcher built right in. No downloading. If you don't have Stitcher yet, go to stitcher.com/JamesPodcast. Enter the promo code JamesPodcast. You could win 100 smackaroonies, which is money. Before we continue, I must inform you that we have a brand new website, new design. Some old school videos have been put up on there for you to watch and enjoy and love. Just cruise on by our website. Just cruise on by our website, theevenjamesapodcast.com. Okay, episode 59. Let's do it. Let me tell you what's coming up. What's coming up to bat. Coming up a little later in the episode, we are going to have listener voicemail. I'm going to play a few voicemails and, respond to what was being said. I'm sure I'll mention this again later, but I'll just tell you now, if you would like to leave a voicemail, it's pretty easy for you to do it. If you go to our website, theevenjamesapodcast.com, there's on the left side, I believe, there'll be a little tab there. It says leave voicemail. You click that. If you're on a computer, it'll record it right there. That's all you got to do. Otherwise, you got a smartphone. You could tweet your response in audio or video form. You can shoot little videos, tweet it at us at James Podcast is our Twitter handle. So you got something to say to us on the show? Throw it on down. But before that, we have for you the official James the Podcast Dark Knight Rises review. Filled to the brim with spoilers. We waited to release this a few weeks out because we really wanted to talk about it. We didn't want to dance around, the subject. So if you haven't seen it by now, you probably don't care about spoilers. But in case you do, I figured I'd mention it. So Mark and I, we dissect the freaking frig out of Dark Knight Rises. And it goes a little something like this. Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
What's up?
Oh.
Oh.
Hey.
Hip hop. Hooray.
Oh.
Hey.
Hi, my name is James.
And I'm Mark.
And we're here to talk to you about all of your favorite things on Earth.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's been a crazy week.
It has been.
What a week, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So what kind of before we get going, what kind of response did you get when we asked the listeners whether you should add that dude or not?
Oh,
This is from last episode. In case you haven't heard it yet, let's just get this out of the way so we can move forward.
Well, the results are in,
Okay.
and it was a resounding no.
Oh wow! Listeners spoke. Their votes have been cast during this election year, and the vote.
But I added him anyway.
Oh, you didn't even listen to your favorite bros and
Nah,
dudettes.
fuck those guys.
Dude, the opinions of Mark are on behalf of himself and not necessarily those of the Even Jades podcast.
And we're getting married.
Really?
No.
Oh, I was like, wow. A lot of advancements have gone in your life in the past week. Well, congratulations on that. And,
Thank you.
let's just get that out of the way so we can get to what everyone has been waiting for. Another Chit in the Chat all about movies.
All about movies.
I was going to say spoiler free, but it's mostly going to be spoiler free. For the most part. But who gives a shit if
No guarantees.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll try. But, sometimes it's hard not to, do that.
Yeah.
So at this point, let's see, how many weeks has it been? Let's go to the calendar here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. The Dark Knight Rises have been released for 3 weeks now.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, and so if you haven't seen it and you don't want to hear about it, fuck whatever. So
Yeah. If you haven't seen it by now, then GTFO.
Yeah. Ash Cash or Grass out of here, man.
Yeah. Totally. Oh, you read my bumper stickers.
Yeah. Still reading them.
Yeah.
We're talking about movies, and we got to talk about the biggest movie of the year. It's kind of can't just back like I know we're indie darlings and
But come on. I mean, I've been waiting for this movie since The Dark Knight ended of opening night.
right.
Dark Knight.
I gotta say, Rose, I feel the same exact way.
Yeah.
The movie's over, and they're like,
Let's keep going. Exactly.
Like, motherfucker, keep going. Yeah. So, let's do it, man. What did you think of the film?
Well, I have a sort of complicated overall thing about this movie.
Okay.
I've yet to see it for the second time, and I really feel like I need to see it again before I have like a concrete
Right.
opinion of it. Like, I mean, I definitely loved it.
That sounds like a concrete opinion.
I just need to know to what extent I loved it.
Okay.
Because the thing was, right, so, I mean, I feel like a lot of people have varying opinions on it. It's mostly like either you think it was terrible or you think it was awesome.
Which is a sign of something that's good.
Yeah.
A quality that's worth being. Something that evokes extreme reaction.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
then
I mean.
again, I mean, there's people that love, like, old dogs.
Well, there's got to be a yin to the yang, Mark. I
Yeah.
mean.
All right. But anyway, I digress. So me and my gal pal, girlfriend, we went to see the trilogy.
Oh, you really? You
We
did
went
the whole
to go
night, huh?
see,
Nice.
Batman Begins, followed by The Dark Knight, followed by The Dark Knight Rises. Now, with my work schedule and everything, I've been working a whole fuckload a lot. And
That's about 9 hours you needed to clear your schedule there.
yeah. But I did it. But that's not to say that I wasn't extremely tired. So I slept a little bit at the end of the Batman Begins. I was up all night for The Dark Knight. And towards the end of Dark Knight Rises, I was in and out.
Right, yeah, I can understand.
It was fucking 3 a.m, and I had just worked like fucking a long out.
That's
like
intense,
I worked I worked until 5 o'clock that day. I worked a 13-hour day the day before.
Wow.
It's just I've been working a lot. So towards the end, I was in and out, which is the main reason I say that I need to see it again, because there's definitely bits and pieces that and I definitely gets fuzzy in my brain towards the end of the movie. But with that, I'll also say that another reason I would say that I need to see it again is just the fact that some of the complaints that a lot of people not a lot, but some of the people that I've talked to about it had, I feel were not in my didn't enter my thought process, mostly because I had seen the first two right before it.
Okay.
Like I was in the zone. I was ready for Batman. I was ready for Dark Knight Rises. Like I was right alongside Christopher Nolan. I was there. So I think that I don't deny that part of my full enjoyment of the movie was because I was in the zone already. I wasn't just showing up cold, not having seen any of the other movies for a while, and coming and expecting to live up to some expectation in my brain. I was watching all three in a row. It was a good, it continues where I feel, I was there. Whatever.
Okay, right.
Anyway. But there's definitely things, without spoiling it, it's hard to say any of those things. There's definitely things that I have a nerd problem with.
I want to
concerning the ending of the movie.
I want to talk about it.
Okay.
Like I said, because it's been out for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we should talk about it. It's because you say it's impossible not to talk about it without spoilers coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So let's put it out there. Okay. Before we continue that, I would like to say that I love the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's not too shocking to hear. And I watched Dark Knight maybe like 2 days before.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, it wasn't right before. But it was, it was refresher enough. I didn't watch Batman Begins again,
mm-hmm.
which I wish that I did, now of what so much of the movie ends up being about things that happen in Batman Begins. Mm-hmm. So I still haven't watched it again. I still want to watch it because even when I first watched it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like that's interesting. That's totally completely not like anything I've ever seen Batman do before. I'm like, okay, like it's almost not even a Batman movie. It's almost like
mm-hmm.
it's just like whatever, And then Dark Knight just blew my mind completely away. Like I was just my expectations. I had some, but it was just. So now after that kind of thing of like, oh, that's okay. Let's see how this next one is. Oh, it looks really cool. Looks a lot better. And blowing those expectations. Obviously, my expectations for Dark Knight Rises are fucking through the roof. And I purposely avoided knowing like any
mm-hmm.
little about it. Like
I was the same way. Yeah.
I just say I did it. I did pretty good. Like I
mm-hmm.
really, like I watched the trailers. So but anything else like even last summer when so much press was going on about the filming of it in Pittsburgh, like I really was just
mm-hmm.
like not. I didn't pay attention to any of it. So much so that I remember hearing a rumor that what's that dude's name? I know I messed him up when we were talking about 50-50.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes.
Okay. So much so that I heard a rumor years ago
mm-hmm.
that he was going to play the Riddler.
Yeah.
And I never investigated that rumor. And I still thought that was a possibility that could be the movie. That's how much I didn't pay attention.
So you were in the movie theater watching this, thinking like, "When's he gonna turn?"
For a moment, and then I'm like, "He's not gonna." I knew pretty soon, he's not gonna be a villain. But I was like, and I got in this day and age, that's a feat within itself. That I really was able to just try to get it as cold as possible. And even when you watch the trailer, it's all out of context, you know. Because I watched it again after the movie, and I realized, I'm like, wow, this made absolutely no sense to me at all. And now everything makes sense. So, anyways, yeah, I loved it, and I really loved Catwoman. I wasn't really quite sure how I'd feel about that in particular, and that ended up being really surprised how much I enjoyed Catwoman's involvement. I've heard people say that Catwoman could have not even been part of the movie. Yeah. You know, and for me, that's just not the case. Like, I really enjoyed it. And then just obviously, like, anything that Bane says is like total ear crack. Like, I know, right?
That's the thing. I've heard a lot of people saying, like, oh, I didn't like it. It was way too loud, the voice. And I was like, dude, like, I found myself just being like, just say something else. Yes. Like, come on, please. You know, like, it was like the same thing with the Joker. And like, you know, but the thing with the Joker was that, like, you know, it was very intentional that he was only in it a certain amount. And I feel like with this, Bane was in it a lot, and I just kept being like, give a speech. Like, say something more. I love it. It's because it's so weird that's his voice. I know. Like, I was so, like, because having never really seen any footage or anything from the movie, other than I think him saying, like, I am Gotham's reckoning. Yeah. In the trailer, like, which doesn't really give you an idea of how he sounds when he's just talking normally. Like, the opening scene in the airplane when he first starts talking. Yeah. Like, it kind of threw me off, honestly. Like, I didn't, but now I want to go back and be like, experience it again, you know?
Yeah, that's the first thing he says is what I've been quoting all week to Karen.
What does he say?
As in, like, I keep trying to find ways to bring it up in conversation. Like, I'm like, I have something really important to tell you about something, and I would try to play a straight face. And what he says was, why would you shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane?
Right, it's like totally, like, it's a weird voice, man. Yeah. It's awesome. Now, here's the thing, though. I was wondering, because I remember hearing, you know, when they put that scene in front of the IMAX version of Ghost Protocol, right? You know, and people who went to go see that were complaining about his voice, and I kind of wish that I went to go see that because they changed his voice from what it sounded like originally.
Right, I heard about that they changed it. Yeah.
Now, what I thought I originally heard was that they had more like digital distortion type stuff on his voice, and they sort of clarified it more. But someone recently told me that what they thought it was that they were just using the original, which this sounds like total bullshit to me, but I heard that someone else said that they were using just the original audio of him just talking with a mask over his face. So it was just like, why would you shoot someone?
Wow, that would be so shitty.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
need subtitles.
It's like Kenny on South Park.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, I want to see if
I don't know. I don't think that was on the DVD or. I mean, I have no idea. I'm pulling that out of my ass. I remember I started watching Mission Impossible, but I realized I didn't watch it on DVD. I watched it on demand, so I don't know.
I mean, I don't think it was. They put that out.
Yeah.
You know, that was exclusive to go and see it in the IMAX, but. Yeah, so I don't know. That's something I'd be interested in. The thing about the Christopher Nolan Batmans is like, it's like I respect the auteurship of it all, but I really wish there was bonus features on his fucking DVDs.
You don't think there's any bonus features?
No, there's fucking nothing.
What are you talking about?
What?
Fucking Dark Knight Blu-ray? There's so much shit on there.
Like what?
I mean, I don't know what kind of bonus features
I'm talking about. Like, I don't know.
You talking about like making of the movie?
Yeah.
Oh no. There's so much shit on there. There's like on the Dark Knight one. There's like uninterrupted broadcasts from like news like the Gotham News Channel, like
Oh,
full
yeah,
stuff
okay.
like that. There's let's take a look at the fucking Bat Tank, like
Yeah, well, I remember like I've seen the DVDs and stuff, and there's like looking at them making the motorcycle thing, and then there's like let's talk to Hans Zimmer about making the score, and like, but I don't know. In my head, I'm just like, I just want behind this. I want in depth. Like, how do you make a movie like that? I want Christopher Nolan. Basically, I want Christopher Nolan to sit down in front of me and explain to me, for like months, like what went into making these movies and how it's all done.
yeah, especially this one.
Oh my god,
it's such a grand scale.
yeah, I mean, we should just talk about that. I mean, it's like the scale of the movie is huge, and it covers so much ground, and I mean it's long, and I definitely say at 3:00 in the morning it felt long to me. But I'm really looking forward to the second watch, because most movies, like when it's like the first watch and it feels really long. Once you watch it for the second time, like that time will go by faster.
I watched it at noon.
Mm-hmm.
That's when start time was, and so I didn't. I didn't feel long to me when I was watching it. I felt that it moved. And that's something when I realized, because of this one, also when I rewatched Dark Knight, I realized the pacing that he has for these long-ass movies is so fucking fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think just like watching Dark Knight again recently, there was something I totally missed. Like, because it happens, it just cuts between scenes like lightning fast, because there's so much. I think that's when people that are the haters of these films are like, oh, I got bored or blah blah. It's like you can't. Some people just can't keep up. They're not expecting to be intellectually challenged when watching these movies. They just want like eye candy. But it's like you gotta be right on it. You can't.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like I feel like if you like The Dark Knight and you don't like this one, then it's it's like that's something we were talking about in an earlier episode. It's like you're liking it for the wrong reasons almost. Like if you like The Dark Knight, I don't understand how you could like The Dark Knight in if you could love The Dark Knight and not love this movie.
All right, yeah.
And there's people I've talked to where they're like, Dark Knight was amazing. This one, meh. Like it was, I was pretty bored by it. Just too much talking, and it's like, fuck you. Like. Get a fucking brain.
Yeah.
Like not every. I thought the movie was really great. But like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing it again because
So let's talk about
Bane is amazing.
Let's talk about the questions you have about the end.
Okay. Here's qualms that I had with like actual legitimate qualms that aren't just like I was tired and whatever.
All right, let's do this.
The Robin thing.
Okay, now we know that's kind of bullshit.
What do you mean?
I say we because I forgot about it. Whatever. Let me finish your thought before I have a response. Sorry, continue.
Oh, okay. So at the end of the movie, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character is picking up something. I don't even, like. This is the thing is there's the little details that I don't remember, but I remember that he's picking something up or some paperwork or something like that. And
let me.
Jesus Christ! I'm like.
Let me drop in science for you.
Drop some
first
science.
of all, that ending was like bam, 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 bam. We're like, what? Like it's. I can understand. I was kind of confused about what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason that I have this figured out now, which let's put this out there. Kevin Smith had a 4-hour episode talking about the movie.
Oh, really?
Well, he had it between two different podcasts because he has his Batman podcast.
Oh, right, yeah.
Fat Man on Batman, and then he had a Smodcast. It was continued, or basically for those combined, it continued together. Obviously, recording all at once, so together that was 4 hours. And I did spend most of my day on Friday at work listening to this, and the best part about that is actually the second half of it is Kevin telling Scott Mosier the movie play by play from memory, and Scott
nice.
hadn't seen it.
Cool.
So anyway, but obviously along the way he's talking about it. And then when they got to the end and they were talking about the end, he actually really cleared up a lot for me. So I'm not going to sit here and claim that I picked all this up. And he had seen it 3 times at that point.
Okay.
So anyways, so Bruce Wayne dies.
Mm-hmm.
In the, you see he's died.
Yeah.
There's a funeral. You're like, no. There's some disbelief. You're like, dude, he didn't just fucking kill that. I didn't 100% believe he was dead. Yeah. But in the reality of the movie, he's dead. Then it cuts to Lucius Fox in the R&D department working on another version of the airplane, the Batwing that he was flying.
Okay.
And then Lucius like, man, we really got to make sure the autopilot works on this one, because that's what they keep talking about. The autopilot won't work throughout. Did you remember that throughout the movie?
Yeah. Okay.
That was a recurring thing, and because the autopilot didn't work, here's some spoilers for your ass. When Batman goes to take the nuclear bomb out of the city and the plane, he can't put it on autopilot and let it take off. Like he has to fly it out, and then die in the explosion. So after all that happens, it cuts to Lucius and one of the guys like us. Like, I really wish we can get the autopilot to work.
Oh, okay, that's right. And then it says that it was working.
He's like, it was. And then he's like, who fixed it? And it's like, they type in the video. It's like, oh, Bruce Wayne fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, oh, okay. So the autopilot did work. Then I don't know if I'm correct in the sequence, but then I believe it cuts to Joseph Gordon-Levitt going like to some lawyer's office, and there was like, he's like, oh, this is what he left for you. Like it was like in a will.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a device that was some kind of GPS tracking system or something. So he follows that. But before he leaves, he's like, the person at the desk is like, oh, you should use your real name. It's nice. Robin.
Mm-hmm.
So then you hear that and you're like, all right. So he's supposed to be Robin, and that was kind of, that's what I thought you were talking. I was like, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much just that one piece of like dialogue.
Yeah.
Because in my head it's like, you could have had what happen, and you can leave with the knowledge that like there's gonna be, he's gonna continue the legacy in a way, or whatever.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be named Robin. And like Robin's like, was that in any of the comics or any of the? I mean, as far as I know, in the other movies, like his name was Dick Grayson,
right? Yeah,
and like his real name wasn't Robin. It was just it's not like Batman's real. Like, you should use your real name, Batman.
Right, that was the thing. It's an alias.
Yeah,
and so they could have said you should use your real name, Dick Grayson, or something to allude that he's Dick Grayson. Mm-hmm. Would have been cooler than that. And,
to me, this was my argument coming out of the theater. To me it felt like something that the studio had him put in. Like
it
almost like well, you gotta have some allusion to another movie, and you gotta have a mention of Robin.
right.
Almost like not like I kind of half feel like maybe it's just poor writing in a way. Like maybe it's just. Like it just doesn't. Even in watching it the first time of watching it, it's like it felt forced. It's a forced line.
Definitely.
Like there's no reason to have that in there. And it's, to me, I would hope that Christopher Nolan, having the me having the reverence towards him and for his movies, and like I would hope that he would have better taste than that almost. So it's like it's like I wish that. It was just, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Let me continue.
Continue. Yes, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. No, what happens in my opinion of it. So we have that happen. You should be Robin. So he takes his tracking device.
Mm-hmm.
It leads him to the Batcave, a place that we, as viewers, haven't seen since Batman Begins. Because he He didn't go to the Batcave at all in Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And I think, was it supposedly that it was destroyed, or
in Batman Begins, there's the party that he has where then Ra's al Ghul comes and basically blows up Wayne Manor.
Right.
And then, he says, like, you blew up my house and left me for dead, so that's what I'm doing to you. And basically the entirety of, like, Wayne Manor and the Batcave get blown up. And then that's when the first one ends with him saying, to Alfred, like, I'm going to rebuild Wayne Manor, like, just as it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Alfred saying, like, just as it was, sir? Like, I thought we could make some minor adjustments, to, the lower foundations in the southeast wing or whatever the fuck it was, And then in the Dark Knight, it's still being built, and they, that's why he's at the penthouse and in that underground bunker thing.
Yeah, I think that was at Wayne at the building, the Wayne Enterprises
Mm-hmm.
building or something. All right, so we're back there, and it's like, okay, before getting to, and then obviously the next shot, it was something that was alluded to in the beginning of the movie, is that Alfred says he just wants to see Bruce in a cafe somewhere in Europe, and just knowing that he's okay is good enough for him, and that's how the movie ends.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as your Robin thing, or your Robin thing, the Robin issue, I kind of thought of it as like, it was spelling it out. It was dumb. I'm not going to defend it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that he was literally saying that he's going to be Robin, like, and coming up, his next movie is Robin.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was just driving home the fact that he will continue the legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And
But that's what I'm saying, though, is like he could have, without having that line in there, they show him following the tracking device to the Batcave. He gets in the Batcave,
Right.
and the whole thing, like, pops up and shit, and, there's, like, whatever... There was some kind of bat thing there. The plane was there, I think.
yeah, I don't remember it was there.
I feel like in that, you'd be like, okay. Throughout the whole movie, he's proven himself to be loyal to Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Batman has led him back to the Batcave. You can pretty much assume what's going to happen. I
Right.
feel like it just doesn't... It's just that one thing. It's, spelling it out for the audience to be like...
Right.
and especially for something like that, like... like... Robin is like... Everyone knows Batman and Robin.
Right.
And I feel like... Obviously, everyone knows the Joker, but... like for the first movie, like Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul is like this underlying things throughout all three movies, honestly. And those are lesser known characters, and that's kind of what I liked about Batman Begins when I first saw it, was that he didn't use like the Joker, obviously.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have to go to the Joker eventually in the second one. And then in this one, Bane, it's like, he could have went Riddler, he could have went, obviously he went Two-Face already, but like Bane is a lesser known character. I mean, I don't know shit about Bane.
Right.
I don't think Bane was in the 60s TV show.
No.
Which is where most of my knowledge of Batman came from, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the cartoon show in the 90s a little bit. I know, some of those villains, but I think some of those villains were, maybe if they weren't from the comics, I feel like some of them were from just the cartoon.
Yeah, a lot of them
There
were.
was, like,
I know a lot of them were
Clayface
created
and
for the
stuff.
cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like Harley Quinn was from the cartoon.
Mm-hmm. And I've talked to a couple friends that are like actual comic geeks, and they think it was like, oh, why would they have to say Robin? When it's more like he's Nightwing, which I guess is another. I don't know shit about the different iterations of Batman sidekicks.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, I mean out of anything, that's really my main concern. And the only question actually I just had coming up right now is, there's a huge thing. The biggest thing I feel like with Batman is always like revealing his true identity.
Right.
With most superheroes, that have a double life thing going on, that aren't just a superhuman being.
Right.
You know, Superman and Clark Kent, or Batman and Bruce Wayne. There's that thing of like, you know, you don't want your secret identity to be revealed.
Right.
So, with that being a big part of the Dark Knight, you know, and everyone being like, you know, the Joker saying, you know, unmask yourself,
Right. Yeah.
all that shit that's going on.
Plot point. Yeah.
Then, in the end of The Dark Knight Rises, is it revealed to the public that Bruce Wayne was Batman? You know, that's something I don't want to know. Like, that wasn't really addressed, I feel like, because they kind of wrapped up pretty fast. And that's something that, like, you know, obviously...
I don't think anyone knew that he was Bruce Wayne. Yeah, I don't think anyone knew anything about that.
What I'm saying is, though, like, because... Was it just then, because you would think that someone like Bruce Wayne would have a big funeral. And the funeral was, like, Commissioner Gordon, fucking Alfred, and, like, 2 other people or something. You know, like, it was there was almost nobody there when they were, like, saying goodbye to him at the grave or whatever.
Yeah, I think that was implied that was not... Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't even think about that. That was not public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then...
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. It's just one of those things that I was wondering, you know, because honestly, if Robin, whatever his name is, if Robin could put it together that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and there's that accountant guy from The Dark Knight or whatever,
there's plenty of people that can figure it out.
Batman,
yeah,
and then, like, you know, obviously, like, if Catwoman could figure it out, you know, all these people in this movie, I feel like it was just kind of like, oh, well, it's been 8 years, and now all these people figured out that Bruce Wayne was Batman. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of doesn't really hold water. I know what you're saying. Like, it's
just little things. By no means. See, that's the thing though, is most people take those tiny little things and then go, well, it's a shit movie because there's these tiny things. To me, none of these things take away from the fact that the movie's amazing.
Right? No, not at all.
It's just, you know, it's little quirks about the movie that I'll probably end up loving in the end. But yeah, it's just little questions here and there, and I will say that I feel like Thomas Lennon being in the movie kind of took me out of it for a second.
It did, but he did it. He held it on.
He did a good job.
He got it. He kept it going. He didn't take me completely out of it.
Yeah. And then that's the only other part of it that kind of irked me in the moment was they make such a big deal of him being a cripple. And, like, I can't walk. I go to the doctors. He tells me I have no cartilage whatsoever in my knees. There's nothing keeping my knee from just scraping bone against bone. And now I put this device on one of my legs, and it can kick through a fucking brick wall.
Yeah, and that was another hole, actually, they talked about on the Smodcast, too, was that, yeah, that happens. And then he gets captured, and then he gets put in the fucking prison where he doesn't have the magic brace. So for 8 years, he can't walk. Like, he didn't get over that injury of falling off the building with Harvey Dent. And then he gets the magic thing, and now he's good. But now he doesn't have that at all. And then he broke his back on top of that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a little, doesn't really hold water either. like, oh, my lip, I trained for my lip to be gone. Like, why wouldn't he have trained for that to be gone during the past 8 years?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's a kind of weird thing, too. I don't know, man, but that's what's so great about these, man. We could just sit here and dig deeper. But it was awesome. I want to see it again theatrically.
Definitely.
And yeah, I thought Anne Hathaway did a great job. You know, and she kind of impressed me. I'm not going to say I thought it'd be bad, but yeah, I mean, I trust the movie. They wouldn't, you know, whatever. But I love this Catwoman just because it's what I love about Nolan's Batman. It's just so grounded in reality. Every other Catwoman's kind of been over the top. A lot of their origin stories is like been bitten by a cat, and like she doesn't act like a cat.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't make stupid puns. Like she's just about fucking being badass. And like
exactly, totally. And it's honestly like it's one of those things where if you like, she's only Catwoman in the fact that obviously her name is the same as Catwoman's real name in, you know, other Batman stuff. but she's not. You know, like there's nowhere they call her Catwoman. You know, she's not.
Yeah.
She's. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that I guess hold true from one of the few things that I remember reading in the early things. You know, when they were shooting the movie and stuff, hearing about The Dark Knight Rises, was Christopher Nolan saying like, you know, she's not playing Catwoman, she's playing Selena Kyle. You know, is that like she's not Catwoman because they never, you know, like, I mean, essentially she is Catwoman,
Right,
but,
right.
you know, she's not like you said, like she's not like this kitty needs milk or whatever. I don't know.
Right, but she captures the essence of that in a
Totally,
realistic
totally.
way. Like that's what's
Mhm.
great about it.
Yeah.
Like everything that you loved about old Catwoman lines, like she still has that in her, but she
but I gotta say, I still love Michelle Pfeiffer.
I mean, she did her thing, you know. I mean, we could go through each Batman movie and talk about that, and I'm gonna try to move away from Batman after this. But you know, I'm still undecided. I was really impressed with it. I was having a conversation earlier today with someone, and she might be my favorite Catwoman. I'm undecided.
Mm.
But I was that impressed because you never think of any Catwoman as anything but a caricature.
Yeah.
Just seeing someone like presented as a real person it was great. I mean, it was almost, but not as much as like redefining the Joker. Obviously, like that was like I don't think that will ever happen again.
Yeah.
Where I'm not going to say it's that extreme. Where I mean. I hate to go back to it. I just watched Dark Knight again the other night, so I don't give a fuck. But like, you get like, come on, 1989's Batman. I was obsessed with that movie. I saw it 6 times in the theater.
Mm.
Fucking Jack Nicholson was the Joker. No one could. I'm like, you're just like no one. Like it was perfect casting.
Yeah.
So many classic movie lines came out of his mouth in that movie. Like he just nailed it. Like in every idea what you think the Joker is, he had it. And then just to be fucking slayed. Like so like like I don't think that's ever gonna happen again in movie history. Like like just erased from existence.
Yeah.
Like you're a fucking joke. Like no pun intended. Like you like what a hacky bullshit. Like you know, it's just like I want to watch a whole movie of the Joker of Heath Ledger. Just I want to see what he was doing during the other scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I want to see like when he was just sitting around drinking coffee, like oh, too hot, you know? like I can't get enough of that. Like,
Yeah,
all right, so now everyone knows how we feel about Batman.
That's how we feel
Dark
about
Knight
Batman. Dark Knight
Rises.
Rises, yeah.
And just in case you're like, do these guys like this? I don't know.
Boris Karloff. Bella Lugosi. Vincent Price. Christopher Lee. Klaus Kinski. Otto Kim.
the Even James Has a podcast.
How is it lucky?
Dude, because it's the country's #1 hit music podcast.
What country?
You could ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Or do you, punk?
Dude, it's finally time for you to pull your head out of your ass and listen to the Even James Has a podcast.
Okay, you sold me. I'm gonna go listen to it right now.
Dude, wait for the promo to be over.
You're such a joker.
And welcome back to the Even James the podcast. And now it is time for you to hear listener voicemails. This first one is from Aaron Broom, who is not only a listener of the podcast, but he's been on it several times and will be coming up on it again. In case you're new to the show or you have forgotten, back in episodes 37 and 38, he was on both of those, discussing before and after his long journey he took last summer to riding his bicycle from Long Island, New York to the Illinois state border and back. And he's at it again. You know, he can't, every summer he's got to do some crazy bike ride. So he called in. He called in to let us know what was up. Let's go to the videotape.
Good evening, this is Aaron Broom. It's that time of year again for another cycling trip. And this year I'm going to be going from West Virginia, Philadelphia, West Virginia, to Pittsburgh, and then to Washington, D.C. And when I get to D.C., I'm going to do a little touring around the capital, and then I'm going to make my way back to Pittsburgh, and then I'm going to end up in Philadelphia, West Virginia. And it's a little different than previous years because usually I start from New York, but I thought I'd change it up a bit. And this trip is expected to take about 14 days depending on the weather. And if I see something interesting, I want to stay someplace a little, spend a little extra time in a certain area. I might take an extra day or so. When I get to Washington, I'd like to spend the first day going on a group tour, a cycling tour, and checking out all the monuments and museums and memorials. And then spend the second day there doing a self-tour. And maybe scheduling a meeting with Mr. Obama, if that's at all possible. And, hopefully everything works out as scheduled. So 14 days, approximately 825 miles round trip. And again, it's starting from West Virginia and ending halfway in Washington, D.C., and then making my way back to West Virginia. As far as preparation for this year's trip, I practiced a little more on off-road paths on in my training because what makes this trip different than the previous is that 99% of the path that I will be taking from Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C. is on a cycling path. It's all off-road, so I won't have to worry about cars getting in my way or myself getting in the way of cars. And, it's going to be a way to just be submerged in nature rather than being exposed to danger. And we'll see what happens along the way. Hopefully I meet a few more people. The reason I picked West Virginia to start from is because 2 years ago I met a couple there while I was riding through. I ended up getting a flat in front of their house, and we started talking, and we've kept in contact for 2 years. And it would just be easier to leave my car with them for the 14 days I'm away, and then take the 75-mile path to Pittsburgh, and then work my way down to Washington, D.C. from there. And as far as, my last appearance on the podcast, a lot of people commented on it and told me how they learned a lot more about me based on what they heard me say on the podcast interviews, and they found it very interesting. And I think it also inspired a few people to get out and do a few things that they weren't sure they were capable of doing but always wanted to do. So I'm glad I had a positive effect on people, and that I was able to educate them. And I hope this year is the same, that I could be able to bring back a great deal of information to share with everybody, and to get people excited about doing something that they've always wanted to do. It doesn't have to be cycling, it could be anything that just gives you a thrill. And I hope what I can accomplish will help in making your dreams a success. So we'll see. And that's about it. And I just want to repeat again from previous years that I can't do this ride alone, even though I'll be out there riding alone. I need everybody's support on this. So phone calls, text messages, everything is very much needed. So please show your support again this year. And that's it. That about does it. Alright? Wish me luck. Check it.
Alright, that was that. On his way back north, when he swings by this area, I will have a chance to sit down with him, and we can hear about his trip firsthand. But we didn't have a chance to meet up beforehand before he left this time. So in a few weeks, we'll be hearing from Aaron Broom and see how his journey to our nation's capital went. We got one more voicemail to listen to, and this is a voicemail by Twitter user Mac Bubonics, who last episode 58, Mark and I were discussing, and in case you didn't hear that or don't remember, you don't remember anything, he is a person that I've been communicating with on Twitter at Jane's Podcast, and I've been writing words in 140 characters or less, and he has been leaving audio recordings, and that's what we talked about. So he heard us talk about that, and also heard us talk about Social Dilemma that Mark was having last episode. So here's what he had to say about that.
Listen to episode 5-8, and you guys bring up a lot of good topics. Basically, the one I want to talk about for a little bit is the friendships being a little bit more organic. Now, I know when you were describing to, I think his name is Mark, you're describing about me talking to you on Twitter, and he was just like, dude, that's weird. So I think that happens a lot now in life. And I remember being a kid. I remember when I was at my house, and this guy came by that I didn't even know, and he was like, hey, I need someone to talk to. And then I went to my other friend and was like, dude, this is weird. This guy came over to my house and was like, I need someone to talk to. My thing though is that, man, the older you get, I think the more, you just want to, people outgrow their friends and stuff. And it is really weird when they talk about the whole social networking thing. The majority of the time, I do try to go out and meet people in real life. But the weird thing I always find that happens is I don't understand, and chicks do this a lot, is that, I was in a position, over the weekend where a chick gave me her phone number. And I didn't even ask for it. And I'm just like, oh, good. This may go somewhere. And then, we text back and forth for a little bit, but you start looking at, the amount of texts, and you're just like, okay, this is me, texting her a lot and, not really getting any responses back. And then also, as far as calling, you call and you get an answer machine. So I always wonder, why don't chicks just, just be upfront, don't give me your number, just completely initially just burn me down from the start. Don't try to be nice, just be like, hey, this is not going down. But, you get your hopes up. But other than that, this, I know this whole Twitter thing is weird and it sounds weird. So I understand that. But if you get a chance, hit me up on Skype. You also addressed some other topics that you said you wanted to cover on your show, or start another podcast, basically talking about. I heard you saying something about Disney and some other stuff, but I like to talk about whatever ideas or whatever, and maybe we could share some stories. Maybe I can get some insight from you or whatever. But it's great, and I got to get back to work because I'm swamped right now. I got a whole bunch of stuff I got to do before I can go home. Peace out.
All right, it's time for me to kick some real shit to you here. I got some real thoughts I'm going to kick down. First thing, I do want to make clear, Mark didn't think it was weird you're leaving me messages, so don't worry about that. Even if you did, that doesn't matter, which is to my next point here. You are the only judge of what's weird for you. Don't let other people tell you what's weird. Whatever you want to do, however you want to communicate, as long as you're not hurting anyone, the old saying. But it's your choice. Again, I guess you got to be able to accept what responses you get from that. If you weird someone else out, that could be a bummer, I guess, if you care. But just be yourself and do what the fuck you want to do. That's what I think's important. So who cares what other people think is weird? I mean, some people might think it's weird that I'm talking to myself, by myself out loud in a room right now, into a microphone, and then record it, and then put it on the internet, and hope people listen to it. That, I think a lot of people think that's weird, but I don't, so whatever, that's what I do. Now, the next thing I want to give you some advice dealing with this certain young lady. All girls aren't the same, all guys aren't the same, of course. We're all individuals. But from my experience, the type of girl that you have interacted with is basically messing with her. You're kind of asking for trouble. Now, it's up to you whether you want trouble or not, but you kind of are. I mean, if you're talking to a girl and she gives you her phone number, it's kind of those things like, oh, it's cool. I know you thought like, oh, she's down to earth, she's cool. There's no bullshit. She wants to stay in touch. Maybe we can hang out. Maybe it's all good. And that might happen. But it's kind of a little bit too good to be true, right? That would just go so smoothly, and it's the whole thing. If it's too good to be true, it's probably not. So it's kind of like a little warning there. I mean, it's pretty obvious that she's into playing games. Like, she gives you her number, you text her. It was kind of like a test to see when you would be in touch, how long it would take. She seems like the type of girl that the more you ignore her, the more she's going to be into you. So she just likes playing games. So being so forward is kind of like, it's like bait. It's like cheese in the mousetrap. She put that out there. You're like, oh, let me go get that cheese. It's like, nope, I'm not going to answer the phone when you call. I'm not going to respond to your texts. And she's playing with you, man. She's playing games with you. Now, on the off chance that you're into that kind of shit, then what you got to do is just act like you don't care. At first. Then just drop little hints, plant little seeds. I mean, it's kind of too late with this chick, but moving on. If you're into like girls that play mind games, you gotta play the game too. Basically, you just gotta drop little hints. Let's replay the scenario. She gives you her number on Saturday. Let's pick that up, and then I would wait till Wednesday and then text, "Hey, what's up?" And then whatever she says back, I would text back again until Saturday. But if you would like to leave a voicemail, like I said earlier, I'll remind you there's 2 special ways you can do it. Go to our website, theevenjamesandpodcast.com. Look on the left, click the leave voicemail button, and if you're on a computer with a microphone, it'll record right there. If you're on a smartphone, just tweet it at us. You know, like go on whatever, either use Twitter app or whatever else you use. They have things to leave videos, and some of them have things to leave audio message. Just at Jane's Podcast, and there it is. Well, that song has started, so it can only mean one thing. It's time for me to get out of here. But before I do, I have information for your ears. The song you heard before the voicemails and after us rambling on and on about Dark Knight Rises was Mr. Chups' Hollywood Devil. And it is Mr. Chups that you are hearing underneath us that we end every single beautiful show with. Shout outs to them. Wonderful band. Beautiful singer / guitarist, bassist. I don't know. They play a bunch of instruments. What a babe. Background in my iPhone. No lies. Master Chops is a shit. But anyways, the song that, it was Hollywood Devils. The song underneath us is Back to the Bermuda Triangle, I think. Let's check that. Let's go to the videotape. Yes, Back to the Bermuda Triangle. That's what it is. Okay. We're on the internet. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's James H. Carter 2, and the show's Twitter is at James Podcast. You can email us, jamespodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to visit our website, theevenjamesandpodcast.com. Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, Friendster, fucking Makeout Club. we're all there. LiveJournal, you betcha. You can find all those links at our from our website too. You don't have to search the internet, but if you could, whatever you want to do. And of course, we're in the iTunes store, a place where you can subscribe and review us anytime you want, 24 hours a day. And of course, we're on Stitcher. As a reminder, if you don't have the Stitcher smartphone application that streams podcast right to your smartphone, go to Stitcher.com/JanesPodcast, enter the promo code JanesPodcast, and your life will be more awesome. All right, next episode. I know I'm going to tell you what's coming up. I know last week I had said we're going to talk about Dark Knight Rises and a bunch of other movies, but when I actually went to edit this episode, I was like, wow, we talked about Dark Knight Rises for a long fucking time. So I split it up. So, definitely next episode, episode 60, we are going to continue talking about films that we watched, somewhat spoiler-free. I think it'll be safe. We will be talking about Project X, 21 Jump Street, Mental Steps, and Safety Not Guaranteed, and possibly other things that I'm not recalling right now. So, it's all good. All right, well, special thanks to Aaron Broom, and of course, Mac Brebonics. It's weird referring to someone by their Twitter name, but it's keeping it fun, you know? It's keeping it fun. And thank you for listening. Till next week, keep one foot in the grave and the other one in the gutter. Bye.